just weren't as clean as maybe what we would have liked to have seen.
All right, with the game starting as well, I'm going to let you guys take it away from here and talk us through the action.
Thank you very much indeed, Ginny. Let's get stuck in now to our second map of our second series here tonight between Vivo Keydstars and NIP. We do, of course, have another map waiting in the wings should we require it, demo. But first, we've got to get stuck into Skyscraper. See who is going to go into the major play-ins.
It's a good map for both sides. Both teams have had success in it this stage so far. I would say that NIP have had more success, as they haven't lost a round in Skyscraper, Ollie, so far. So what does that tell you?
I mean, I don't really mind about that. I think it's fine. They played what? Lost one? Was it? Nearly like 20 days ago or something. Like I just don't really feel like it means much.
I think it does. I think it sets a statement. There's a reason why FaZe banned it against him yesterday. I think that look at that, for example. Teams banned this away from that side now. And the fact that NIP seen it open and they went for it immediately, that paints a picture. I always think it tells a lot in terms of what teams ban.
You must have heard the story that Fabian's told before on the UL desk of that. I'm sure it was Fabian that told the story. Basically, there was a team that went out and won a map and they won it really well, and everyone thought that they played it and thought that they were incredible on it, and they just didn't really play it in reality. I'm not necessarily saying that's what's happening here, but you can look into it one of a couple of different ways, right?
You reckon it was an off day for Lost One then? Is that what you're more leaning towards, or just an absolute fluke?
Well, put it this way.
And I don't mean the caster.
If they'd have 7-0'd FaZe, or if they'd have come through and, 7-0'd, I don't know, W7M, then I would be looking at this in a slightly different light. If they'd have come in 7-0'd Black Dragons, anyone that finished in those top 4 spots, I'd be looking at it a little bit differently. Well, we're not going to sit here and use Lost One as the yardstick for, quality siege inside of Brazil. They finished, what, 4th? They got 1 win.
We use miners for that, don't we?
Okay. Pino, going to be the first to fall. Could that be a sign of things to come? Losing the opening kill in the opening round. Has that happened before, Demo?
It's not the opening day, or else you would have had the trifecta there. Because I know you would have if this was the first play day, but we're not. We're day 8 of Brazil, Ollie. We're well into the season. We're at the closing match, of course. This is our last match before we head into the LCQs of Brazil. This is a spot for the major. NIP leading a map, and Skyscraper isn't looking too good for them. This is very 1-by-1. The NIPs go marching 1-by-1. It's not working out for them. The battle back from Keydstars. Gomez could have went for the easy swing on the cycle, but he's blocked the door up into the path, though, of Daffodils. He was ready for him, and now Wizard, all by his lonesome. Oh, just barely misses out on a freebie onto the mirror. Walks into a crossfire. What the hell was that, NIP? Just bleh. That's all it was.
Oh, look, they've lost a round, and there goes their perfect record of a map that they've played a grand total of 1 time this stage. It really doesn't mean all too much in the grand scheme of things. When you get into the server, it is a different story. And I would take Vivo Keydstars' more recent performance on this map as a bigger indicator of what we may be about to see here. That and the fact that, of course, NIP is starting off on the attack. Skyscraper can be a difficult map to get a handle of, especially when you look at the bans that we have on our screen. We've kind of glanced over that a little bit, but we'll run it through now. At the start of round 2, we've got the Monty and the Ying both removed. 2 really key operators when you start thinking about attacking pushes and opportunities here on Skyscraper.
Head over now to the office side. I'm really surprised to see Azami make it through the ban phase on Skyscraper. this operator is so strong for Skyscraper. The way that Skyscraper works is you kind of split it down into two sides. You have Karaoke and you have T, and then the other side you have your Office and your Armory side. In the middle you have Drum and you have Dragon. Those are perfect positions for your Zami to play in, depending on what the main bomb site is, depending on what side it is that you're actually supposed to be defending. Being able to put Azami barriers inside a Dragon, burn for utility, put it inside a Drum, burn for utility, and still fall back into the main chunk of your defense utility is insane. By the time you burn for the Azami barriers, everything else that goes into that Wamai Disc, wherever it is, it's as if you've done a full site execute. But you haven't even took the site, you haven't actually executed onto the site. And to see her be let through today is just... Is she stronger than Fenrir? By a country mile. Sure, Fenrir's great. But on this map, Azami's queen. She is.
Yeah, Fenrir is an inconvenience that you can really do something about actively. You know, if you see those Fenrir gadgets placed out, if you see the Dread Mines, then you've got tools at your disposal that you can use to get rid of that remotely. And yeah, you've got tools that you can use at your disposal to get rid of Keeper barriers remotely, but they can be replaced very quickly. And Azami's can cause quite the problem. So on the balance of things, you would say that that sort of leads into Evo Keydstars should be having a slightly easier time of things here. Ornatao. I felt like it was crossing his mind there for a little bit of a cheeky run out. It's the way that he looked at that window ledge. He did look a little bit tempted. Hates going to be coming under a bit of pressure here inside of Karaoke as drone work is starting to come out here for NIP as they look to clear across this side of the map.
Yeah, very heavy extension from Keydstars. So their trade game needs to be on point. Because of Hates has been actually isolated away from his teammates. Nobody in a good position to get this trade back. Takes a bit of damage from the back. He's more worried about Muzi, and quite rightly so. He's looking to push in towards the back stairs. Hates trade shots back and forth. Cons takes a hefty amount of HP, drops to the floor, and Hates just finds them. What's going on with NIP?
Pons was on 1 HP. He wasn't downed. What's he doing? Just proned on the floor there. Look at the value that Hates is getting here. Picks himself at 1. Go for the third. Doesn't manage it. But the damage has been done. Look at the nades that they've been spent. Look at the bodies that they've lost. NIP still have a couple of Selma charges on the ace to use, but look at the time. 20 seconds left. 1 nade left for Muzi. And they've still got to even get close to the site. Pino, he's going to find one onto Gomez and try and inject a little bit of the pace into this last 15 seconds. Daffodil playing a real close angle, but he's known, and Muzi makes sure everybody knows it. Ornatao now trying to keep himself alive, picks up a double as the players rotate through, and time is gonna do the rest. Evo Keydstars defenders there tucking themselves away, digging in deep, trying to hide behind every piece of utility they could. Unfortunately for them, there was quite a bit of it knocking around.
Oh my goodness. You have to look at NIP and their roam clears. It's just... what do you say? It's very poor. I mean, Warden, it's not as if he's in, like, a strong position. He's just sat in Geisha. But nobody really wanting to make a move. Nobody wanting to step up for NIP and be that flame in the darkness to lead the charge. And they get punished for it big time. I mean, I'll be honest, for Hates, he was probably happy enough dying in that position. He wasted a good chunk of time.
I don't think it mattered if he got a kill.
I mean, he not only got 1 kill, which you'd probably think, oh, that's great. But to get 2 kills?
Yep. I genuinely think he would have been happy just, getting the kill onto Cons or even just wasting a little bit of utility and time. But to pick up 2, and, there was 30 seconds left on the round by the time that NIP had got past that obstacle. Where was the player coming in through Karaoke and opening up the wall and putting some pressure on? Where was the player on the window? Where were the nades? We were throwing nades at him from below, but they had a good idea as to where he was. I feel like Hates has certainly been the MVP there of round number 2. Evo Keydstars showing just how tricky it can be to attack onto Skyscraper. We go for the third choice site now, NIP. You'd start finding some success somewhere. Don't want to let your opponents clean sweep you on their 3 favorite sites and then rinse and repeat that all over again.
Wall gets opened up, and we'll give them the indication if they choose to go for it. Wizard having an issue as the Mute Jammer, of course, on a wall. There goes the soft wall towards VIP. So again, NIP just going through the probing stages, figuring out what they want to go for. Like I've mentioned, got a lot of utility you have to burn through in that middle part of the map. It be the Azami barriers, even the Mute Jammers, which in their own right can cause some issues. About the information for NIP, they have looked weak at times. But all quiet. The Western Front as it stands. Not a lot for Gomez to do either. Fully blocks off the window. Just gives them then the one angle to swing onto towards that breach. But stack them up together. That means they're going to fall together. That gone 6 be popped, and both of them are gone. So Gomez still has that one more. Try and hide behind and give him that one-way angle. Place he has to look towards. But fairly run-of-the-mill so far for NIP, but they may need to hurry up, Wally. Minute 15 to go. They haven't even attempted to get rid of Drum yet.
NIP moved quite slowly yesterday, and maybe that's a theme that we're going to see continue into today. We know them to be quite a slow and methodical team. Lender going to find himself taken out there by Pino as Psycho looks to push on in as well. He's got so many angles to check, and how does he remain alive for as long as he did? Couple of kills fly back in before Pino picks up his second. Led prone on the stairs. Hates takes him out. A scrappy round from both sides. But Vivo Keydstars stabilize briefly. 3 versus 2. Museum Wizard a little bit split up at the moment. Wizard just looking to try and push his way through Karaoke. Doesn't have a lot of info onto this. Puts some shots in and lands onto Gomez. Muzi can now join up with him. Diffuser going to be cold on the ground. That should be relatively easy to collect, but with the time where it is, it's unlikely to get planted. Daffodil just needs to play carefully down here, fighting this reverse vertical angle. Takes a good portion of damage and eventually is finished off by Muzi. 4 seconds left to go. You've got to start to get that kit down, and Hates is going to be in the hot seat, but no, they just try and push for the kill. They had the potential to cover their demo.
My goodness. Again, it's the time for NIP. It just cut them down so quickly. A minute 15. You haven't got control of Drum yet, therefore you can't get control of Geisha. That means you don't have the vertical pressure to try and look towards Kitchen or Barbecue yet. It just fizzled away. I don't know what it is about NIP. Just don't seem as if they're in it right now. Just way too slow. It doesn't look as if anyone really wants to get involved. Just very scared from NIP, very timid. Quite rightly so, a timeout. Give their heads a wobble.
Definitely time, isn't it? 3 rounds in a row, especially in that sort of a fashion. Time to put the brakes on, see if they can stabilize a little bit together. It hasn't even necessarily been that NIP are just losing every gunfight. They just don't always look like they know what they're going into.
No.
There's players moving not off the back of information, but sort of, I've pictured Psycho moving into Geisha. You know, he's looking down through the hatch, he's looking at the breach in the wall, he's looking at someone behind box, and he doesn't really know which way to look, you know, and it's one of the opening engagements of the round. You should have a bit of info onto that. It just seems to be all on a bit of a whim and a prayer at the moment for NIP.
(3-0). Keydstars leading. Get to go back over to Karaoke now. As usual, start to see the defenders start to rotate towards that top floor. Skyscraper as a whole, Ollie, is a very small map. It's not massive compared to the likes of your bank, your clubhouse, where you have all these different branches that go every which way. Straight to the point. I always look at Skyscraper. You know exactly what you get yourself into. Oh my.
Oh my goodness. First of all, credit for the free cam on that because that was insane. But what a way to stamp down, especially after a timeout, just to show how on top you are. The old Spawn Peak C4 landing at Wizard's feet. I don't even care that it was the only C4. That was brilliant from Hates. A little bit of a run out here as well. It looks as though Vivo Keystars decided, you know what, we're going to pile on the pain. You guys are suffering. We're going to take advantage of it. Nice little aggression from outside of Geisha being shown. NIP mudded after the first 50 seconds.
Have you noticed who's died? Both the hard breachers
Only
gone.
both of the hard breachers.
It's chalked. It's chalked. If NIP win this, Keystars, you've absolutely balled it. It will be a through round. So all it is now is NIP are just going to take their sweet time. Again, I mentioned before, they've played very timid. Don't think anyone really wants to get involved. And this is sometimes the dilemma that I have with Pino and Muzi. I always feel that both of them are sometimes a little bit too passive, where they almost need one of them to play a little bit more out of their skin and the other person can sit back. But they can't have both of them sit back. One of them two needs to get involved.
Muzi's got some good info here. He knows someone's playing behind the shield, but it's never going to be an easy angle to challenge onto, regardless of how good you are. Psycho hiding out downstairs. Maybe just chooses to take this time and extend that timeout that NIP just took. Looks as though his location's known, though, as we get a bit of an explosion happen above him. Vivo Keystars happy to wait out the clock here. As Demo said, the only way that they lose this round is if they mess up on a monumental scale. And they'll be happy to just let this clock continue to tick. Psycho. Can't really expect too much of him here. And with the prone player on the half landing, it all started with Hates. And it's going to finish with the same player. What a message Vivo Keystars are sending right now.
Too easy. Realistically. It's, first of all, I'd like to apologize to yourself for the statement, the outrageous statement that I made about NIP and Skyscraper.
Can we just remind everyone what that outrageous statement was?
Good map for them.
Yeah. Because they played it once and they won 7 rounds against a team that came 4th out of 5.
Didn't come last, though. That's, you know, lost 1.
I'm pretty sure they've got the same record. They've got the same record as the team that did come last, though. They almost didn't come last on round difference, Demo.
Exactly.
And they still lost 7-0 once.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know what's worse.
It's not been a fun time. And that's where they can really take control.
That sounds like severe copium.
Nipium. That's what it's called these days. Hey, who would have thought I'm sitting here on Nipium? Would you ever have seen the day, Ollie?
Honestly, if this happens again, I'm going to lose it. It's not far off, you know.
Not far off.
It's honestly not far off. Hey, it's going for that Spawn Peak C4 cons. Didn't quite realize how lucky he is. I mean, if that had happened twice in a row, I think that would have been mental in the bin for NIP. As it stands, they can look at that and go, ha, you wasted your C4. Now we're going to go and win the round. It's going to be difficult for NIP to try and compose themselves after the last couple of rounds and the way that they've gone. Especially given that Oregon was a little bit of a war, needing overtime to figure out a winner there. They do have tools at their disposal here, though. Got plenty of hard breach. Everyone's alive, more importantly, a minute into the round. And they've got 4 nades. So on paper, they've got all the tools they need and more to get the job done here.
Still need that first pick, though. I feel for NIP, they've been lacking off the map control, and I think if you do manage to snag a kill here or there, let's just open things up just a little bit more. See how reserved Keystars are playing, using each other, playing off the information. Hates knows that nobody can really push him without going past that Aruni first of all behind the shield. He's in a relatively safe position. Does get spotted out, and an easy nade will come in. Still here. Waiting for the opportune moment, and well, that is an absolute freebie! Gets straight off, though. But look who he's killed again! The hard breacher goes down!
The fact that there's a drone only a couple of feet away from his location is inexcusable. That is a horrendous miss drone. Cons is going to be feeling pretty hard done to if it wasn't his own drone that cleared that area. Tates was just hiding out in the hot seat there. Pino is going to find one onto Lender. A couple of nades have been sent through. There's one still left in Moosey's pocket. Pino's nades from below haven't been successful just yet. You have lost a good portion of that hard breach. You've still got a couple in the hands of Wizard. B2 is getting himself into an engagement here, and it likely means at this point that the site wall won't be opened. Half of it is, of course, soft. Gomez finishes off Moosey, and the remaining explosives here on the side of NIP as Pino starts to get chunked down as well. We can see Vivo Keystars, they're rotating back into the site, ready to make this final stand. 2 versus 2 as Gomez, he's holding the long angle. There's 7 seconds left on the clock. NIP have done it again. We're going to see a cap cam from the grave come into play. As Pino, he might have the kit, he might have the position, but Gomez has the shot. Another clean round being chalked up here by Vivo Keystars.
They're playing it extremely well. They understand the fundamentals of Skyscraper. You just have to waste time. Make it so NIP have to work incredibly hard. NIP just don't look at the races today. Just off it completely. Nobody wants to fight. You need that desire to win, and just NIP aren't showing that. Keystars. Honestly, just those little plays where you've got a Capcan hidden into Vault shows the lack of misdroning coming in from NIP. Again, the basics, Ollie, we mentioned at Keystar, and they didn't do their basics right on Oregon. Equally, NIP. Basics are non-existent right now on Skyscraper. We've got not just one donut, but 2. One for me and for you, Ollie. What one do you want? Do you want your Cons flavored donut or your Psycho one?
I think the Psycho one, please. It sounds, I don't know, I imagine it's like a citrusy flavor.
You reckon? A bit
Yeah,
sour?
I feel like just like a little citrusy one. Maybe it's like, I don't know, maybe it's raspberry or something like that. Maybe it's not quite citrus. I think Cons is like, oh, maybe Cons is like coffee flavored. I don't know why.
Well, very bitter.
No, just like, I don't know.
Comes on a bit too strong, does he?
I think I just want something citrusy in a coffee, I'll be honest with you. Maybe that's what's coming to mind.
It's an idea there. Do a donut chain based off of flavors of players. I don't know how we come up with this stuff. I don't know how we get to this stage. Here we are. Just by the way, everyone, me and Ollie don't go, we don't turn up to work and say, hey, today we're going to talk about donuts and what player corresponds to donuts. It just happens. That's why life is. You can't predict it. Same way I wouldn't have predicted Keystars to be 5-up against NIP.
They do say life is like a box of donuts.
Doesn't last long if you call demo.
This map isn't lasting long if it keeps going along at this rate. 5 rounds to 0. Last round for NIP to show us what they've got on the attack here. Wouldn't even be the first time today that we've seen a landslide victory on a map. Back to W7M versus FaZe.
Let's see, off the shield. Moving in towards top black stairs, and has just taken that ground extremely well. Nobody home holding on to it. Finally, for a change, we see NIP kick things off in the driving seat. This is a much better shape from them. They've gotten control of what they wanted, which is the Black Stairs. They get a kill on top of that. Does alleviate just a little bit of pressure onto them. Psycho also inside a bathroom. I like the positions that NIP are going for. It looks as if they're going to try and avoid the rumors as best they can and set up more of a flank-orientated watch for them. Solus can, a lot of information, sees a player on the camera, can see 2 air jabs. So that information should be fed through to Keydstars, knowing that they're probably going to go and try and direct, ignore us, and hope that the air jabs do the work. This is where you would expect to see more players start to rotate back to site in preparation for that flood of barbecue.
Psycho just trying to hold the long angle there and put in a couple of shots from long range. It's looking much better here from NIP. They've left it late, but round before the side switch, I'm sure would be very welcome indeed. Hates and Daffodil. Got a bit of work to do. I'm going to start by taking down Wizard. Pino going to be operating upstairs side of Geisha as the plant goes down. He's just assisting, making some vert, but he hasn't got his eyes on the flank. That isn't going to stop the plant from going down, however. Daffodil is left on the first floor, and well, Hates is going to be up above, going to try and open that wall, see if he can jack in the box a kill here, but there's going to be a bit of vert available. Cons goes down, but Moose is there with the cover. Psycho finishing off Daffodil. NIP, welcome to the party and welcome to the map. You've taken your time, but you've put a round on the board.
Great showing of how minimalistic you can be sometimes in Skyscraper. I would say, probably about 15% of that map was in control of NIP at any one time. It was Black Stairs, bathroom, and that was really it. There was not a lot else they needed using the OSA, which, you know, whenever you bring in the OSA, it's specifically designed to try and walk in one direction and just sneakily get a plant down. We've seen it all the time. And also walk in, put the shield up, plant behind the shield. You can't get shot. That's where she's really, really strong. I'm really surprised, though, that Keydstars didn't react quick enough. The Solus was able to see the plan of NIP, set up the air jabs, and just try and walk into sight. Solus had a very difficult decision, albeit I will give him the benefit of the doubt. It was either kill the player above, and then your teammate's going to be stuck dealing with the vertical action against him, and you try and stop the defuse. Or you go and help your teammate and you try a 2 versus 3 retake. That's really where you're at. I'm just was it the correct choice, so would you rather stop the diffuser in that scenario and still play above and leave your teammate at the whim? It's very greedy.
Yeah.
But I don't know, you'd have to play it out the other way and see what the results would be, because I'm really not sure. Because you still have a lot of work to do. Even if you kill that planter, you're still then going to be stuck in the 1 versus 3 nonetheless, and the only thing that you could have is it would be a bit of a scramble for the attackers then to pick up that diffuser and plant it again.
I don't think either situation is, a particularly easy one to deal with. Muzi is domed. That's a classic Muzi angle as well that Daffodil's just used there. Just a little bit of through the hatch, unexpected. Get yourself in nice and quietly on the nook. Pick yourself up an opener. Psycho, he's going to turn his attention over toward the breach here and see if there's anything that he can find. He knows that Muzi died from a very similar location, but those upside down repels, it's not really something you want to be putting yourself in the way of at the moment.
NIP. See them in the... Talked about the star formation, Ollie. This is the box formation, square formation. Have a corner on each, and oh dear, one of the corners is gone, Ollie, and now we're left with a triangle. That's not going to help. Have a weak side and allow Hates to get in and start clearing out the players, and more fall beneath them. Great old start for Keydstars. Eliminate another one, and Pino in the 1 versus 4, they know exactly where he is. Shotgun came in, eliminates Daffodil, and you get the second one. No, we cannot. Hornetau cleans it up. Ollie, bear in mind, that's not the site. This karaoke was the site. You wouldn't think it.
You really wouldn't. There was a big extension there, and it was an extension that just got demolished. Vivo Keydstars. Map point here. very quickly on Skyscraper after a war on Oregon. Really bursted out of the gate for this one. They've done the hard work. They've picked up an attacking round there. They only need to pick up one more, and they will guarantee us Cafe as our third and final map. NIP. I mean, where do you go from here? You've tried a huge extension. It hasn't worked. You've now chosen the site where you extended last time, and that was really where the failing was. They need to really come up with something here. They've got a lot of tools at their disposal. Look at the line that they're bringing. They have that potential. They've got the Azami. They've got a Mute. They can reduce a little bit of that information game. They've got the Aruni. They can really start to play around with some of these angles. But still, all the pressure is on their shoulders.
One slip up, NIP will be headed to Cafe. See if they can get that major spot. Eatstars really dug in. Skyscraper. They've done the simple things right. Always said, results will follow. You can do that. Right now for NIP, I just want to see them just take it to Keedstars. It's been way too easy. Keedstars have had everything going for them, because there hasn't been a fight back at all. We've seen 7 rounds, and sure, bar one of them, it's been Keystars all over. We haven't even really had like a close round for NIP.
It's not been an easy game to watch, and I feel like it's really disrupted the flow of the series. Yeah. Especially given how back and forth Oregon was. You're coming into this and we were sort of thinking, oh, this is going to be good. You know, it's Vivo Keystars need to prove themselves. NIP, they're the big dog on Sky, and that's just not been the case at all. They've just been shut down at every turn. Do have the easier side of things here, though. That didn't help them last round. I like the amount of pressure that's being put on early here by Keedstars. The nades have been sent through, and you can see a little bit of repositioning here from those defenders because of that.
They're in Geisha right now. They have that control of the map. Still have to make their way over towards the midsection. It does look as if the players in Drum have been pushed back, and also the players in towards Dragon. They're going to try and hold it by the long angles. So of course, as that rotate behind him, he can just move back if needed. No shield, though. Very typical to see a shield somewhere inside a Dragon, just to that extra bit of fortification. Oh, what a shot from Pino. The Commando. One that we don't see all too often. It makes an appearance, and it's hit the mark. Reason why we see the Roni over the Commando, of course, is Ollie. Why?
Magazine count.
1.5x is what we were looking for there, and oh my goodness, Pino, another great shot on the Hates. Gomez looking for the peak around, eventually will find that Mozzie, but the damage has been done.
We see the Azama keep a barrier there, try and block off the final few seconds of this round. Wizard is getting himself into a bit of an engagement here. Muzi picks one, Lender Gomez, they add on to the tally. The kills are flying, but they've still got to find Cons. He's close range with the shotgun and picks himself up too. The time was likely going to do the rest, even if he hadn't managed to, but what a flashy way to finish. NIP, they hang on in there.
My, oh my. So close. But Collins, the shotgun, pulls it off. NIP, another one back for them, but still. Have to do it 4 more times, and that's not easy. Kitchen Ollie is where we head to. This is typically the 3rd bomb site choice. Seen it didn't work out all too well for Keedstars whenever they were defending it. This was the only attack that NIP won was onto this side. So that doesn't really look too well for NIP. Considering that this was the tough one to defend for Keedstar, so surely it'll be tough for NIP with that logic. They're not running really the Soul Sully, which was a bit of a feature that Keedstars like to use and abuse, and I suppose whenever you're dealing with a site that does have a lot of heavy vertical play, Bring the Souls is very strong to see where the diffuser's getting planted, if it does get planted in the site.
I think one of the reasons that this site is so difficult to defend onto, and it's something that NIP demonstrated quite nicely when they attacked it, and it's just the fact that you just don't need to take any map control to get the plant down. There's a lot of this that you can do from outside. There's a lot that you can do from just inside of Geisha. You really don't need to commit too heavily to that full clear if you don't want to, and if the opportunity is presented to you. So Keedstars could look for a similar approach. They've certainly got a wealth of utility to wade through if you look at what NIP are bringing to this battle. Got the castle. Got some frost mats thrown in there as well. The Azami is going to be a staple throughout the defensive rounds, regardless of who's on defense. Still quite a bit to work through here for Keedstars. Looks as though they're going to start with that top floor clear, as we do see them stacking up a little bit over toward office side.
Just taking their time right now, figure out how they want to approach this top floor clear. I think Geisha is going to be their option. I do like that they have one player on the windows. It just creates an avenue that Wizard has to be careful of if that karaoke window does get punched. Flashbang throws in deep. It will full blind Wizard. This gives Psycho the go-ahead to try and support him. Oh, whiffs the shot. You have to be hitting them, Psycho. Muzi's gone in the midst of that Horde of Tau. He's picked up the first kill off the round. Cons, let's get the down. Still, kills go back and forth, and it is going to be a 4 versus 3, but as we know, one player has been down and will be finished off by Psycho. Daffodil is in and amongst it. Cons eliminated. Pino, he's maybe looking to try and go to the rescue of Psycho, who is in the midst of main stairs, and oh, looks away almost at the wrong time. Is he going to stick here? It is Ollie, but there's so many players just pressuring onto him now, and eventually gets finished off. Up between a rock and a hard place. Now Pino with such low HP has to try and keep NIP in the game. That's a good start. Hate's gone. Good headshot onto him. Falls back into bathroom. The vertical angles are there for him. Pre-fires, but no. Dodges away. A drop comes in. Looking to plant towards Kitchen Gomez. Is Daffodil with him on the hatch? He's going to try and go for the cover. Pino now slips in. He's going to go for the pre-fire through the wall. No thanks against it. Looks for the swing around. Surely the player will cover. Yes, he will. Daffodil on the hatch finds his man. We go to map 3. It's not over yet. Keedstars, a great battle back. 7-2. They take down NIP and Skyscraper.
Keedstars doing a fantastic job of catapulting themselves back into this series. Firmly in with a shot here now. As we enter our third and final map. 7-2 scoreline as well. Super impressive. I don't think anyone was